of the most common questions that I get on the channel is, where the heck do I get all of my armour? And that's a very good question, because if you're interested in getting armour, well, you're going to want to know where to get armour. So today I'm just going to go through where I get my armour to help you guys, as it is a very common question and save my fingers from having to type it in so many comments. I'm going to be giving you the recommendations of where I recommend you get your armour. Please do not go onto Amazon, please do not go onto eBay to spend less money on bad quality armour. I made that mistake so much when I was younger, and I deeply regret it now. And you end up getting really terrible armour that would be great for, you know, making sausages by packing mincemeat in those sausage-looking abs. Avoid that. Just avoid it, please. I know it can be really tempting to go for that cheap stuff. Don't. Save up to get slightly more expensive armour that's actually good and usable, unlike that stuff. So I'm going to tell you my recommendations for where to get armour and where I got my armour from, some of which unfortunately no longer making anymore. But anyways, hopefully you find this video helpful. Let's just crack on. First, I'm going to start with perhaps what most people are interested in, being the helmets. Now I've got 4 helmets, yep, 4, right here, 2 of which, the 2 transverse crested Corinthians. One of them is from DSC, or Daniel Steelcrafts, and the other one is from Historical Recreation Art, which are basically the same company. They're father and son, same helmet, literally identical. One of them is custom made for me, which is the one by Historical Recreation Art with the checkerboard pattern. The other one is an off-the-shelf from DSC. These are basically the reenactment standard of helmet, and they're good. They look very good for the Hermione sort of style Corinthian. They can make them custom sized to you, which I would highly recommend for, unless you have an absolutely gigantic head. Their off-the-shelf helmets will just be so big for you, be like wearing a bucket. You have to pad them with like 2 inches of padding, which isn't practical. You want it close. It's a little more expensive to get it custom made, but it is really worth it. You want custom fitted armour, otherwise it's going to be uncomfortable and it's not going to work how it should. I can't exactly remember the cost. I think roughly that one custom made was about 400 Canadian dollars shipped. But again, this was 2-3 years ago now that I got that helmet, so I can't quite remember. The other helmets that you see, the 2 most recent ones we got the Archaic Corinthian and the Illyrian helmet. Now these were from Genius Steelcrafts, and I'll be linking all of these stores down below, by the way, so you can find the links easily, you don't have to search them up. These guys are decently new. The actual company's decently new, and to be quite honest, they produce absolutely amazing quality helmets for half the price of the traditional sort of DSC route. This guy here, fully custom made, not even just custom sized, completely custom made based on historical examples that I sent him, 190 USD. Half the price, and just as good if not better quality, thick nasal, completely custom made. DSC is good, but GSC, honestly, right now I'd recommend them more. They get back to you really quick, absolutely amazing to communicate with. Communication has been great with them. They produced amazing helmets, genuinely amazing helmets. I could not be happier with these. They did an absolutely amazing job, and they did it so cheap, so much so that if I saw this helmet on eBay or Etsy or something for that price, I'd think it's a scam. They genuinely are really good. I highly recommend them. They produce custom-made stuff for you. It will fit you. It will look really nice, and you can, again, which is one of the best parts about reenactment, see a helmet that you like, and they will make something that looks like that helmet. You just have to communicate with them. Highly recommend Genius Steelcrafts. Again, they'll be linked down below. That was both the Archaic Corinthian and the Illyrian helmet. So currently, Historical Recreation Art / Daniel Steelcrafts, good helmets. I think a little pricey, and they're sort of dropping out now, I would say. There's way more options available, such as GSC and Genius Steelcrafts, which are honestly doing phenomenal work. Now another company which I would highly recommend, which I myself haven't got anything from yet, although they are actually currently making me a piece of armour, is Liber Steelcrafts. They've produced some, again, really phenomenal custom work for people. Some other friends in our reenactment group have had Liber armour made. Again, really good. They produced a helmet, which I'll see if I can find, which just looks absolutely phenomenal. So again, Liber Steelcrafts, LYBA. I'll link them down below as well. I'd highly recommend them. As for the crests on the helmet, again, I've got a lot of questions about this. Lots of the reenactment stuff that you see is co-made, it's custom made. You can't get it off the shelf, and frankly I think it's a lot more fun and special to create your own stuff. So also shields, people ask me shields. Yes, you can buy off the shelf shields. Recommend Res Bellica for that, I'll link them down below, they have some good shields. DSC also makes shields. Again, you just have to get in contact with them. They're pricey, they're good, they're not perfectly historically accurate, typically on the heavier side. I personally make my shields. It's a lot of work, takes time, but you get that, you know, tweak it how you want, you get to make it how you want, you get to design it exactly how you want. It means a lot more to you as well, being able to step back and go, yeah, you know, this kit I haven't just pieced together, I've made most of it. You know, that I think making it is a really good option. Same with the linothoraxes, the tube and yokes style of armours, the spolas. Most of our guys custom make them, which again seems really difficult. It's really not when you get down to it. It just, you got to take some time, you got to look at it. If you really don't want to make your own armour, if you really don't feel comfortable with that, again, Res Bellica actually does make some pretty nice linothorax, the tube and yoke / spolas, blah 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 types of armour, so check them out as well. But again, you will be looking at quite a pricey option. Back to the crest again. This guy's custom made. These guys come with the helmets as well. Now moving on to arguably the next most important piece of armour, we have the greaves. These are incredibly important that they fit you, because if they don't, you will be incredibly uncomfortable. And to be honest, and I think this is just something to keep in mind when you are building a panoply, is most hoplites weren't fully armoured. They just weren't, okay? The same way that we have to afford and build our kit, they had to do so as well, many of which did not afford full armour. So, spend your money wisely, save up to get a good piece of armour to have a minimalist kit, as opposed to spending your funds spread over the whole kit to make a, yeah, that's an alright kit. Okay, I really couldn't recommend this more. You can have an absolutely stunning modest kit that looks better than a fully armoured guy because the armour that you have looks good. Greaves are one of those things. It looks better and it is more comfortable to not wear greaves than wear unfitted or non-accurate greaves, okay? So just keep that in mind as well when you're looking at armour, is even though you want it, it's sometimes actually better and more historically accurate to just not have that piece than buy one that doesn't function as it's supposed to in a historical setting. So these guys here are made by Adam Mazier in Poland. He unfortunately is no longer making armour, although he is actually currently finishing off a helmet again that I commissioned. And though his work is absolutely phenomenal and really, really good, I've been waiting over 2 years for my helmet that he's currently making. He's very unreliable in that sense. So his work is great, you're 50-50 if you're actually getting your item or not, is what it seems. Options for greaves then. Liber Steelcrafts has actually made some lovely greaves as well for people in our group. And Daniel Strando, an absolutely lovely guy, I had the pleasure of meeting him at the Plataea event this year. He's an up-and-coming armourer. Again, you're going to be waiting a while for his stuff. Most armourers, you are going to be waiting. He's currently making a bell cuirass for me, or a transitional cuirass. Phenomenal, one of the best bladesmiths out there for ancient Greek stuff, makes phenomenal swords and spears, and is now venturing into armour. So you can get in contact with him on Facebook. He's produced just gorgeous pieces of armour for members of our group as well. I'll put a picture up of some of the stuff that he does. He is, honestly, I would say, probably the best Greek armourer right now. He's amazing. But again, longer wait lists, sort of just getting into the armament. I believe he does bronze, like statue making as an actual living. But yeah, so he's another option. But again, with greaves, it's worthwhile taking the time to get casts or really good measurements for these guys, because they need to fit, otherwise they're going to be sliding into your feet when you walk, they're not going to grip your leg properly. and frankly they're not going to function, and that's not only going to look sloppy, it's going to actually prohibit you from moving. So greaves, take the time to get some well-fitted greaves that look nice and that you'll be comfortable with, and you should be good to go. Now, one of the biggest items that we have here is this muscle cuirass here. This was made by Rob at Thack Ironworks up in Toronto. This, I don't like to say this, it was about 3,000 Canadian dollars. Nicely made, fits really nicely, only took about 5 months. So, Thack does nice work. Again, I very much like the cuirass, would recommend him. Rob actually does have a YouTube channel, Thack Ironworks, which I will link down below, so you can get in contact with him there, or through his email if you're interested in getting armor made by him. And again, another option, and I'll come back to this guy, is Lieber Steel Crafts. He's made some nice cuirasses, and Res Bellica as well also has some nice sort of off-the-shelf muscle cuirasses, which, you know, 5 years ago were non-existent. So you can get some decent sort of muscle cuirass options off the shelf. Again, make sure that they fit you, because otherwise you're going to be a little bit in trouble. Same goes for the tube and yokes, the linothorax. You can get some off the shelf. Again, Res Bellica is a good option. However, making them isn't as hard as you may think. It's going to be cheaper, it's going to be more rewarding in the end, and you're not going to have to wait as long. So, up to you. I personally couldn't recommend making armour more. So much fun and just rewarding when you sort of finish that process. As for swords, unfortunately there isn't really that many options. This is the only really one that you can get off the shelf which is sort of alright, which is the Dipika Kasifos style swords. This is a short sword, the sort of daggery style of them. If you want a really high quality sword, you're going to have to go custom. Again, Daniel Strando makes absolutely phenomenal swords, but they're going to be pricey. This, I at some point want to upgrade. Currently, if I'm being honest, not at the top of my priorities. I don't use it much. Lots of the displays that we do, I don't wear it just for safety reasons. And it looks perfectly fine, and it's decently, like, it looks nice. It's just heavy and not quite right. But just to be worn with the panoply, perfectly suitable. Again, that's sort of the reenactment standard sword before you go custom. You can't really get better at that price range, and you certainly shouldn't get anything that's below that price range. You can get it on Cult of Athena, probably Celtic Web Merchant. There's multiple sources that I'm sure if you just search DP Kasifos you will find them available. Is there anything that I'm missing? Sandals, I guess technically not armour, but I'll just quickly go cover those. Sandals, again, you can make them. You can actually get patterns available for shields, sandals, all sorts on the International Hoplite discussion group on Facebook, which if you haven't joined, highly recommend joining. Love that group, absolutely amazing discussions. Everyone there is very helpful. I'll be on there as well. Anyone has questions, people will definitely be able to help you out there as well, and share, of course, a different opinion. I'm just one reenactor with a camera and a microphone. Loads of other people have different opinions to me, more recommendations, more experience. So again, more experience with different armourers. So feel free to ask more questions there. I'm just giving you my recommendations. And just talking about reaching out, feel free to reach out to me personally as well. My Instagram is linked in the description. So if you have any questions that you directly want to talk to me about, I'll be more than happy to help you out. A few other people have already been messaging me, we've been talking, so if you have any questions, or how do I make this, how do I do this, where would I get this from, do you have any recommendations on this, I'll be more than happy to help you. Just get in contact with me and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Shoes as well, you can get them from DSC. Spearheads, again, Daniel Strando makes amazing spearheads. You can also get them off the shelf. I believe I got some of mine from Celtic Web Merchant. You can also find them on Res Bellica. DSC makes them. Historical Recreation makes them. All sorts. Most of these sites that I've linked down below make loads of stuff, so you can sort of find everything that you need from them. But yeah, otherwise from there, if you have any questions about specific things, I might do a video specifically on garments and sort of clothing. This was mainly focused on armour, and I guess now shoes. Who doesn't like shoes? So yes, hopefully you found this helpful. This is where I personally recommend getting armour. This is where I get my armour from. And if you have any other questions, get in contact with me. I'll be more than happy to help out.
yeah, thank you very much for watching, and special thanks to our members as well for supporting the channel. If you would also like to support the channel more than just watching the videos, liking and subscribing, we do have a channel membership where you get a few different perks and help support the channel. We also have merch if you're interested in merch, which is also linked in the description. Lots of stuff linked in the description. Anyways, thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you found this helpful. Get in contact if you would like, and I'll hopefully see you in the next one.